I'm Stuart Bloor and this is Paris, my pet ferret, and I'm about to go fishing, but before I do I want to show you a couple of clips of Paris in action. Well, that was Paris playing with his orange. He does that all the while, goes in the kitchen, gets an orange and runs backwards with it. Anyway, these are his little treats. This is his house. Watch this for the trick. Paris, come on. Paris. So that's Paris, my ferret. I love my ferret. I also love my perch, and that's where I'm going now. See you at the water's edge. I've left Paris behind and I'm at the venue now. I'm fishing a quiver tip rod. You can't see, but at the end I've got my 1 ounce glass insert, and then a cage feeder. It's a 20 gram cage feeder. You might just be able to see there a size 10 hook. I'm going to fish with worm on the hook, and in the cage feeder I will have some brown crumb and a little bit of predator mix that I'll show you in a moment, and of course some maggots. So get all that in the cage feeder, cast out. It's quite a big venue. I'll do a few casts first of all, quite quick, one after the other, to try and build up something in the swim, and then see how it goes. That's important. If you put too much bait out, first of all, you could catapult loads out, and then the fish aren't there, they're not feeding, they're not having it today, maybe a little bit finicky, and of course you've put all that stuff in. It's important to try and build it up first, see the lie of the land, so to speak, and then if you need to, you can of course increase it. So let's get this set up and ready to cast out. This is my mix, as you can see there in that bucket, just standard brown crumb. And that's the predator mix. I don't know if you can see there on the camera. I'll try and get some out. There you go. It's designed really for pike, I suppose, when we think of predators, but don't forget perch are as much predatory as pike are, and so what I'm going to do is I'll probably work on the ratio of about 5 to 1, so 5 brown crumb and 1 of this predator mix, so it gives a nice little edge to the ground bait rather than just standard brown crumb. But what I am going to do as well is I'm going to mix it. I've had this for years, you can see it's well used. I'm going to mix this in a little what do you call it, a ground bait mixer there, so that if I put too much into my bucket, first of all, mix it all up, I might have some left over. I have got a bait freezer, stick it in at home, but I prefer to just mix as much as I need, and then you can just keep going. And of course, if you don't use it, well, you still got your stuff to take back home. So a little tip there, don't mix too much up, particularly if you haven't got a bait freezer, and then you're stuck, aren't you? And so often you see anglers throwing stuff in at the end of the day. Just do what you need, little ground bait mixer, tub, bucket thing, whatever, to put it in first of all, and then you're set up. Just before I do cast out, another tip really, following on from what I've just said about mixing your ground bait, always keep some back, because when you get your bucket, tub, whatever, down by the water's edge, you put your water in. If ever you put too much water in and it's sloppy, you make a mistake, an error in judgment, something like that, and you put too much in, you're stuck, aren't you? But if you keep some back, then you can always add that when you need to. So that's a good tip, I think. Don't know if any of you have ever been in that position. I mean, many years ago I haven't been for a long time because I keep some back, but I have been in that position in years gone by. We live and learn, don't we? And it's a horrible thing to be stuck at the water's edge and realise I put too much water in. Cast out, the show's on the road, let's go. And the sun's just come out as well. It's a beautiful day. You wouldn't think it was the winter, apart from the trees having no leaves on them, but it's a great day. But to be honest, any day is great when you're out fishing, isn't it? I don't know if the camcorder is picking up the wind, but it is quite windy today. I am in a reasonably sheltered position, the way the wind's coming anyway. I could be on the other side of the lake and I'd be getting the full force of it, but with a few trees around me it is deflecting a little bit. But nevertheless, I have positioned my rod in such a way so that the quiver tip is just above the surface. It's no good having it in the air. Well, you don't want it in the air anyway when you're doing this sort of fishing, or too far off the water, because he just gets affected by the wind. So you position your rod such a way so that your quiver tip remains nice and firm, and I'm watching that now, and then when the fish takes it, you get to see the first indicator of that, because some of these bites might not be savage. You might need to just watch for those little takes first of all, where the perch gets interested, and then you can be on your rod very quickly, although I am sitting next to it anyway, and strike. In other words, just be one step ahead of the fish. But I'll show you my rod now, how I've got it positioned so that it's at an angle that's just above the surface of the water. There's a gust of wind coming in there. I don't know if you heard that there. Well, as you saw there, I've got a very friendly robin hanging around. Any angler that spends time at the water's edge, as this happened to them on a number of occasions, I'm sure, particularly when we're fishing with maggots, they'll help themselves, won't they, as I've just let that one do there. But I'm still waiting for a pet perch. Hopefully that'll come soon. Few bird shots there. Lapwings went over earlier, and of course the gulls that you've just seen. Last time I was on this particular place, I counted about 4,000 gulls. It's a gull roost, so they all come in late afternoon like they are now, and they'll settle here for the night. I've had nothing at all. I'm still watching that rod top as I talk on camera. I've had nothing at all. But having said that, you know, bring it into the equation. It's a 100-acre water, and the fish aren't exactly wall-to-wall carpet underneath. It's the first time I've fished it at this time of the year. I have been on previously, and I've done quite well for perch, but nothing at all today. And I have found out this afternoon that with the cold weather we've had recently, prolonged spell of harsh weather really, that it has been frozen, and the water temperature is quite low. So it's up against me. Not that I'm making excuses, but just bringing those things into the picture. But I always record my blanks and always record the sessions that I do. Sometimes you catch and other times you don't. That's the nature of the beast. But I've got an hour to go, so who knows, might get that fish for the camera. No fish for the camera today, unfortunately, but I did see an Iceland gull, so I'm really happy about that. My angling journal is updated every Saturday with an entry. It consists of the video that you're watching right now on YouTube and an article, and you can find that article attached to the video, and you will be able to read how I get on in the other sessions where hopefully I will catch some perch.